My name is Yui Hanazawa. I'm 27 years old, and I work full-time in an office. More specifically, I work for a food manufacturer company called MoniRobo Foods, and I work in the sales department. Although there are many male employees there, there's a good number of women who work here too, and the work environment is good and equal to everyone. Just the other day, the achievements of each individual employee was announced, and I'm proud to say that I was awarded first place. But the happiness that ensued this great honor was pretty short-lived, because someone in particular was not happy with it. Yui, great job in your work, sweetie. You too, Miki. Looks like we both had some pretty stubborn people to deal with at work today, huh? You really think I messaged you just to talk about that load of boring stuff? No. I have something more interesting in mind. What? How did you manage landing those contracts? My gut tells me something dirty. What do you mean? All I did was what I was taught to do. You can't fool me, sweetie. I know how a girl acts when they use different ways to get those contracts, especially seduction. No, like I said, I did what everyone always did. I whipped up the necessary documents, showed it to whom I met, and then we discussed business. What do you mean by seduction? No way such highly regarded companies would take you seriously with just that load of bullshit. I made an appointment with them beforehand, as usual, and I prepared well so I could answer every question they had. What more do you want? And I couldn't have gotten the honor all by myself. I have my colleagues to thank. I'll bet $20 that beyond that screen of yours you're smiling hugely. Perish the thought. Cooperation with other people in this business is definitely key. I don't believe you. I just know you did something else. What? Perhaps you see yourself as a very attractive woman, I don't. My makeup is always natural. I never go overboard. What's up with you today, Miki? You've never been this critical of me up until now. This woman's name is Miki Takahashi. She's my age, and she works in the same department as I do in the company. Even more so, she does sales, just like me, and the results this time got her to second place. Both of our salaries and our bonuses would definitely be raised a notch, and back at the office we were both overjoyed about how well we did. And then out of the blue, she became angry, perhaps jealous? I wonder what changed exactly. Yui, you know everyone had high expectations of you since you first joined the company, right? The spotlight was always on you during our initiation period, I remember. I beg to differ. Liar, I bet you pulled a bunch of strings that would guarantee you a job here. Now hang on a minute. Why do you say such things? What on earth did I do to deserve this? I'm freaking frustrated. There's no conceivable way you had better results than I did. If things went as planned, I was supposed to be at the highest achieving employee in sales. But no, Miss Universe here had to come along and ruin everything. Calm down, Miki, please. Take a breath and let's talk this more seriously, like adults. You think you can calm me down with something as arrogant and mature as that? You insult me. Answer me this then. What did I ever do to you? If I did something that made you feel humiliated, I'm ready to make things right. Why do you give it a think with that bird brain of yours? Miki, you're my colleague, and you're also my friend, right? Good one. I never once saw you as a friend. Or a colleague. So you've been lying to me from the beginning. Is that a fact? I mean, duh. I'm surprised you never noticed. We're the only two women in sales at MoniRobo, and I was set on being your friendly rival as we both worked hard to benefit the company the most we could. Got a screw loose? I'm not the kind of girl who gives up so easily after something insignificant like this. I'm not a toady, kicky-ass little witch like you. So now I know how you really feel about me. Don't ever talk to me from now on, or I swear, you'll regret you were even born. Good grief. Why in the world was Miki so intense all of a sudden? I really had no idea. Up until recently, she was like a sister to me. Someone I could look to talk to about anything and everything. She really did hide the truth ever since we both joined the company. Then this is truly shocking. I was left in a daze for a while, staring blankly down at the slip my boss had rewarded me. Good morning. I will do my best for the company, just as I always have, sir.
Miss Hanazawa, never forget that although you have been awarded for Best Achieving Employee, you still have a long journey ahead of you. You have experience to build, trust to gain, and mistakes to make. Keep up the good work, and you'll be doing us wonders.
Thank you so much, sir.
Takahashi,
Sir.
we have business negotiations with Sakata Line Commercial Affairs first thing this afternoon. It's a rather big deal to land. Can I count on you to accompany me?
Of course, sir.
Great! As for all you gentlemen, do your best to catch up to the ladies here. Am I clear?
After the morning greetings from our boss, I returned to my desk and checked my email, as I always do. In the afternoon, when Miki was going out on the after-mentioned business negotiation, I bade her good luck, but she completely ignored me. Looks like she's still mad about last week. Personally, all I want to do is on being good friends with her and help her achieve her greatness. Phew, I think I'll take a break and have a coffee. I could use a donut too. Hey, Yui. What's up? Tell me your plans for the day after tomorrow. Who, me? Am I talking to another Yui here? I have to go to ABC Construction Headquarters at 11 o'clock. I managed to get an hour of the manager's time. Wow, that place is a pretty mighty company in this country. Yep, and they're notorious for being a little peculiar too, so gotta grind even more than usual to land the contract. Do you think you can give me that particular job? What? I just think this is a bit too much for your plate is all. You have as many appointments to attend as I do. If you don't have more, your health won't keep up. You're saying I can't do it physically? No, that's not what I'm saying. I only want us to be careful, so that the company won't complain about. I swear to freaking God, this is exactly why I won't ever do better than you, goddammit. Hey, that's a bit too loud, sweetie. That confirms everything. You've been siphoning what you're after from people by turning on your feminine charm. What? Your face is just average. Besides that, your fashion style isn't good at all. I truly wonder how you successfully seduce old gas bags into your bed every night. Miki, this has gone way too far. Oh my, did I strike a nerve? Did I upset you by telling you what is undoubtedly the truth, sweetie? I'm not saying this to mock you, you know. If I really hurt you, I apologize. I'm sorry, okay? The stupid attitude ever since the messages from last Friday. If you give me your job the day after tomorrow, I'll leave it at that. But if you don't, there may be unpleasant rumors spreading like wildfire around here. What exactly are you planning, Miki? I have no idea what it could be, but I do know for sure is that I don't like it one bit. There's no plan, sweetie. I just want to work a bit more than I already do, that's all. And yet you're saying nasty things to me, and your intent to pick a fight with me is just bleeding all over. Make no mistake, sweetie. All I'm doing is making sure you don't get too cocky by encouraging you effectively. That's just so stupid. You know what? Never mind. You do your part for ABC Construction. I'm sure you're going to do a great job and land that contract like a pro. But remember, the next best achievement employee will be me, and no one else. I will not, I repeat, I will not lose to the likes of you again. Miki stormed away with exaggerated stamps of the feet and went back to her desk. She paid no heed to the fact that there were many other employees present in the same room, and just continued launching the nastiest insults to my face. I sighed a big one, brushed it off, and went back to work. Alright, I convinced the manager to become business partners. This calls for some nice treatment. I'm having lunch at the cafe over there.
Miss Hanazawa, sorry to bother you when you're out.
Mr. Sasaki, sir. Good afternoon. What can I do for you?
Well, actually, there's something I've been meaning to ask you.
Oh dear, do we have a serious problem on our hands?
I want to know if the rumor that Takahashi is spreading is true or not, is all.
Excuse me?
The rumor that all of the contracts you managed to land us have been done because of doing the dance with no pants, so to speak?
Perish the thought, sir.
Takahashi did raise her voice to you the day before yesterday, did she not?
Oh, see now?
And thanks to that, your colleagues are starting to gossip. They believe you're jealous of Takahashi, and other such information's been spreading around.
I assure you, sir, if anyone around here has any intent of defaming someone else, it's Miss Takahashi. I swear on my career, I'm only following the system that a superior of mine had, who left a few years ago. That's why I always do whenever I have a contract to land.
I know that's what you've been doing, and you've been doing it very well.
So sorry to have caused you trouble, sir.
Don't mention it, Miss Hanazawa. I'll warn Takahashi not to spread hostile disinformation about colleagues.
Thank you, sir.
We're so grateful to have you as one of us, Miss Hanazawa. Keep up the good work.
Of course, you can count on me. After enjoying a nice lunch, I went back to the company for the afternoon work. And as you expect, Miki put up a fuss once again. Thank you so frickin' much for getting me in trouble with Mr. Sasaki. Not only do you use your stupid charm on other company officers, you only use it on our own boss? You disgust me. The insults had increased tenfold in frequency and intensity, but I dare not show I was dying inside and denied her accusations firmly. Perhaps she really disapproved of me denying what she declared as the truth. She kicked my desk hard and stormed back to hers. In this manner, I became increasingly more stressed with her personal attacks as time went on.
Hanazawa!
Yes, sir?
What were you doing last Thursday?
Excuse me?
Hurry up and answer me.
I went on paid leave in the afternoon.
And what about the next day?
I went on a trip outside the prefecture.
I trusted you and you disappointed me.
Wait, what? Like what? What the heck is going on here?
This is something Takahashi captured by chance when she went to Kanazawa. I wonder how you're gonna get yourself out of this one, Hanazawa.
This is...
You do realize who this gentleman is, right?
I do. He's Chief Manager Narata from Sukato Line Commercial Affairs.
So what Takahashi was telling me, it's all turned out to be true.
I beg your pardon?
It seems that the story that you were using sex as a means of landing difficult contracts was not a lie after all.
If I may, sir, it's nowhere near what you're thinking. Mr. Narata and I don't have a relationship or anything like that.
Then explain what this means, if you please.
Actually, he and I are seeing each other privately.
You can't be serious. Have you any idea how old Mr. Narata is?
I'm 27 years old myself, and he is 39, sir. I admit it's a substantial margin in age, but I don't see how that could be a problem.
The photo simply doesn't suggest that you are actually a couple. On the contrary, it hints at some dirty work, to be frank.
I must recall that you personally encouraged me to keep up the good work, sir. How in the world does that suddenly turn into a hostile accusation?
That would be because...
For our 2-year anniversary of being together, he very kindly took me on a trip to Kanazawa.
I see. Is that so?
I knew that Miss Takahashi was in Kanazawa on business, right? As I was there on vacation. And I must say that I feel deeply offended that she had the audacity to meddle with my personal life.
Forgive me, Hanazawa, but I'm not the perpetrator here. If you have any complaints, you'll have to address them to Miss Takahashi yourself.
This is not how Mr. Sasaki normally is.
I will not say anything more on the matter, but I must ask you to refrain from doing any suspicious acts. Am I understood?
This is horseshit. All I ever do was enjoy a nice trip together with my boyfriend. Why do I have to be warned about doing something suspicious? What in the world is that Miki plotting? Miki, you blabbed something to Mr. Sasaki again, didn't you? I was out at Kanazawa enjoying a celebratory trip with my boyfriend. The same time that you were there, correct? Is that so? Spreading disinformation as though I really did do something questionable. I demand that you stop this now. So not only were you actually using sex to get the job done, but the fact that you also had a sugar daddy. You never cease to amaze me, sweetie. Sorry, what was that? Honestly, don't you think it's disgusting that a 27-year-old woman is dating a 39-year-old man? It looks so much like an older brother dating a younger sister. None of your business. Damn, you're really convinced that this kind of relationship is normal. I think the seafood I had for lunch today was off because I'm really nauseous. You do realize the relationships between people of different ages are pretty common, right? Who knows? Not gonna happen to me. At least that's for damn sure. Doesn't matter what you think. Meddling with someone else's private life is just not okay. I demand that you retract all the stupid rumors you've spread. Now. So funny. Explain everything in detail to every single person you ask? Because of you, people are gossiping about me behind my back much more often these days. Anyone's responsible, it's you. Of all the things I hate about you, What really makes my blood boil is when I see you get cocky and act like you're the mature one around here. You gotta suffer every once in a while. I'm telling you, I never did anything wrong. And there it is again. That goody two-shoes angelic persona you clothe. So annoying. I also worked my goddamn ass off, and people were finally starting to praise me more often. How frustrated do you think I felt when you came along and destroyed everything I ever built for myself? But what do you know? You never worked hard for anything in your goddamn pathetic excuse of a life! What with all of that? That's just jealousy talking! You must suffer through more pain and more hardships! Wait, Miki! She threw the bag of potato chips she was holding at me and disappeared into the other room. And then things went from bad to worse. She started to talk loudly with Mr. Sasaki when I was on calls, making appointments for business negotiations. Because of this, who I was talking to would say, "So loud!" and decline an appointment. Mr. Sasaki himself, who always was such a kind man, suddenly feigned a lot of ignorance over Miki's behavior. The working atmosphere made a 180 practically overnight. My work's performance began to go down pretty quickly. And then one day, "Good morning." Wait, hang on. Where's my seat? Everything on the desk's been cleared away. "Oh, good morning, Miss Yui. Something the matter?" Miki. "First glance, it looks like your workplace just disappeared. Is that what happened?" "Yeah, everything, the documents, my desktop, my coffee mug, they were all here when I got off work yesterday." "Take that, you cheap whore." "What?" "From this day onward, you've been fired. You're not working for us anymore." "No way! But why?" "You're pretty lovey-dovey with one of our subcontractors, are you not? Doesn't matter if the objective is to land a contract. That's bullshit. It's just too far down the road of taboo." Again, with the stupid lies. "No one will believe you, and that old geezer are actually a couple, sweetie. The difference in social status between you and him are as far as an earth and sky in any case." "It's true, I'm telling you." "Then how did you two meet? Mind telling me that story?" "That isn't relative here." "I thought so. It's not that you won't tell me at all, is it? You can't tell me because it'll only prove I was in the right the whole time. You use your sexual charm to fulfill MoniRobo's expectations. You always have, and you always will. And nothing makes me more frustrated than being wrong." This is beyond cruel. Did you really have to go so far as this madness? Mr. Sasaki himself said we don't need people who continuously do suspicious acts. And where is Mr. Sasaki right now? What a shame. It's his day off. Who would have thought she hated me this much? "Don't worry about a thing, sweetie. I'll take over your work, and I'll make sure you bring the company to great heights. You'll see. I can do everything better." Everything I ever worked for. All the time, the effort, the sacrifices, I poured everything I had into my work, hoping to make a difference. It was all for nothing. "How long are you gonna stand there? You've got no business here. Hurry up and go home." In her hand, she clutched the binder that was filled with the necessary documents I need to get the contracts. All the other employees said, "Get lost, whore. Using your body to get your job done. Disgusting." I couldn't bear the abuse any longer, and I started to cry as I left the building. By the time I got home, my face completely drenched in tears. I had a runny, stuffed-up nose, and I was puffy, and my eyes were a horrific sight. I'd finally realized that my colleague had trapped me, and that her plan all along was to get me fired in the end. This is just too much. How could I just get fired for something ridiculous like this? All things considered, I never dreamed Miki actually was that kind of person. How in the world do I explain all this to dear Hayato? This is all so sudden. I don't even have motivation to think about anything. My career, my whole lifeline, in shambles. My physical strength succumbed to the shock, and I fell asleep on the bed. The next morning, I woke up to find a horrifying sight in the mirror. Because I fell asleep without getting changed or taking a shower, my hair looked like a bird's nest. My face looked like a zombie, and my clothes were wrinkled and ugly. I didn't have the energy to turn off the washing machine, let alone go outside and go to the cleaners. This has got to stop. This mental low point has to stop. I have to find some way of bouncing back. A few days later, I went to Hello Work and filled out an application forms for unemployment support. And there was also explanations to dear Hayato to worry about. Time flew by faster than a speeding bullet, and 2 months had passed since I was wrongfully fired from my job. I was relaxing in my room, reading a book while I was letting something simmer over the stove, and my phone started to ring. "Hello, this is Hanazawa." "Yui, where are you at right now?" "Is that you, Miki? What's the matter? You sound so rattled. Never mind about me. I want you here at MoniRobo Foods in a half an hour. No, scratch that. Get over here in 5 minutes. What is all this nonsense? Have you forgotten I was fired from my job? I'm no longer an employee of MoniRobo Foods anymore. Surely you, of all people, know about that. And yet you're asking me to come to work. Something serious is up. For real, for real. You're hired again, silly. Mr. Sasaki's dropping everything so you can come back to us. The same job you've always loved doing. Come on, don't make me beg. I'm not moving from where I am, sweetie. I'm busy with all my reading. Chief Manager Narata from Tsukato Line Commercial Affairs is here now, and he's not happy at all. Emphasis on the "is here now." Huh? Today was the day we were going to negotiate business in the meeting room of our company building here. Is that so? Well, hope it goes well. Do your darndest, Miki. Why the hell do you think I'm even calling you, stupid? We're in no agreement to even begin the meeting yet. If it's anything about business, well then I suggest you take care of everything yourselves. Chief Manager Narata is utterly furious with the fact you've been fired. What? Yui, you really are the man's girlfriend, aren't you? Hang on. Who was it at that company ignored everything I said when I tried to explain to that person over and over again? I'll give you 3 chances to guess correctly. Then you better not strike out. As for Mr. Sasaki, he eventually swallowed all of your stupid bullshit. That's honestly disgraceful, if you ask me. No one should ever be discriminated against someone based on nothing but hearsay. Sorry, everything's my fault, and I accept full responsibility. I'm so sorry. Your blatant, insincere apology is not accepted. I hear my dear Miss Hanazawa has been wrongfully fired from this establishment, and if you don't mind, I'd like to hear a more detailed explanation about this now. Mr. Sasaki's literally trembling as we speak. MoniRobo Foods and Tsukato Line Commercial Affairs have been collaborating for so long, and I did not hesitate to tell him about what happened. But I did in the end. He found out I called him a sugar daddy, too. Of course he found out. I told everyone everything, every tiny detail. Hey, how did you two meet in the first place? Nothing truly special happened. My father and his are close friends since childhood, and we tagged along to one of their regular meetings. That's literally all there is to tell. Because my own parents were separated by more than 10 years in age, I never paid attention to that. I was not experienced at all when it came to love, so I thought it would be a good idea if I had a shot at matchmaking. When I first met him, he had a very calm, soft demeanor and was a gentleman. I confessed my feelings to him first. So you became committed before he did? Yep. I can't believe it! Leaving the fact that he holds a good position at a famous company, I became infatuated with the humanity of Hayato Narata. In your eyes, he may look like someone who could already be married 10 years, but he's such a sweetheart, you know? Is that so? I was going to carry on with my job after we married and got a job. The irony is that we aren't even engaged yet, though. I fully understand the relationship between you and Chief Manager Narata now. That's why I must ask you humbly to persuade him to back away from filing a lawsuit against us. Did Chief Manager Narata say that? He did, right in the face of Mr. Sasaki. I was surprised at first to see that Miki had called me after a while. But now that I understood why, I was completely fed up with everything she stood for. I was fed up with Mr. Sasaki, I was fed up with MoniRobo Foods, and I was fed up with everyone else's safety net. She was literally saying, "Sorry, you got fired, the company's in trouble now, so please come back." Like, who in their right mind does that kind of bullshit? It was enough to make me want to shout at her. Furthermore, she kindly told me exactly what Hayato said.
I like to be in business with companies who treat every single one of their employees with respect. And as for this enterprise, this is on the complete opposite of the spectrum. Voyeuring someone's private life and exploiting the photos in an attempt to expose someone for dirty work or having a sugar daddy. I've never seen this before, and I must say, it's utterly shameful. I'm terribly sorry, Chief Manager Narata. This whole situation is a direct result of my failure to discipline those involved in the crime. You actually concur with that other female employee of yours, and conspired to get her fired, did you not? I did not. Getting bloody hands in some sort of legitimate crime, and sentencing the employee to disciplinary dismissal as a result can be tolerated. As it should be, sir. This isn't stemming from the very fact that she is my girlfriend. human being to another, it is absolutely crazy to mess up someone's life this much. When the whole situation can be easily explained. Am I making myself clear here? It isn't acceptable to terminate a business contract based on a personal matter, so the contract will remain intact. Really, sir? Yes, but under the following condition. You and I will file a lawsuit against you. You and Miss Takahashi will go to court against us as we accuse you of public discrimination and defamation. What? There's nothing else to discuss here now. So let's continue with the arrangements personally later on. I beg your pardon, sir. A lawsuit will be problematic. I have a family myself. Well then, how much do you offer to keep this matter away from public eyes? Chief Manager Narata?
Our CEO found out about this situation and he was so angry his face turned red like a tomato. I'm not surprised. Mr. CEO poured a lot of effort into creating a work environment that helped people grow into better versions of themselves after all. His efforts tried to keep the company's employees on board for their whole lives. You're so disgusting. Tell me that old gas bag Narata is a sweet man on the inside? Hayato, thank you so much for helping me out. Yui, aren't you listening to me? Sorry, no I wasn't. I'm telling you to persuade him to call off the lawsuit! Oh no. What? Is this something we both decide to do after some discussion about the matter? You're not getting a single cent out of me, you hear? That's not gonna happen. If you don't want us to sue, maybe you should have thought harder before you went on your little insanity spree. Shut up. I also worked so hard in order to get this job here. I have no intention of leaving my job, and I'm sure as hell not gonna pay you any compensation and damages. If you're that adamant on not paying me for what you did, maybe you should also think about hiring a lawyer then, I said I'm not paying a cent in this matter! After I rest for a while, I'm gonna start job hunting again. I'm never gonna work for MoniRobo Foods again. Not even if it was the last standing company in the world. I really am not gonna pay you. I'll leave everything in my lawyer's capable hands. Well then, goodbye, sweetie. The sound of Miki wailing like a distressed banshee was literally making my ears bleed. So I hung up after all and refused any more calls from her. I also blocked her online before I forgot to do that, and after I did. I felt a large weight lift from my shoulders. I probably won't ever see her again, and good grief, am I happy about that. Goodbye, Miki. Look who's laughing now.
Looks like they weren't financially secure enough to hire a lawyer, and ours tells me the lawsuit is going along smoothly.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much, Hayato dear.
I don't care what they say about me, but I really can't understand how in the world they pulled off something like this to you. You did absolutely nothing wrong.
After all that, what happened to Miki and Mr. Sasaki?
They suffered the wrath of the CEO of MoniRobo Foods, and they were both fired immediately.
Is that so?
And also, it turned out they were a thing, too. One night after a drinking party, they were completely hammered, missed the last train, and spent the night together in a hotel.
I always wondered why Mr. Sasaki's attitude changed so suddenly.
Mrs. Sasaki divorced her husband, and she demanded 2 million yen from each in damages. They later had a huge argument about who would pay the whole thing all in one go.
You really went deep in finding out what happened to them, huh?
They also had the sum to pay us, so I'm positive their lives are gonna be pretty hectic for a while.
Not to mention they have to find a new job, since they were both fired from their old job. Speaking of which, I think it's time I also start looking for a new job again.
I don't think they're gonna find new jobs anytime soon, at least if not at all. This sort of scandal travels fast across the community, you know.
I was worried about when this whole thing would end, but maybe we can finally mission accomplished?
Listen, Yui. I'm gonna join the rave of 40-year-olds starting next year, but I wanna be together with you for the rest of my life. Will you marry me?
Oh, Hayato, honey.
No matter how hard we try, we can never do anything about the fact we're 12 years apart. But I promise you, I will make you as happy as can be.
Yes, if you'll have me. I'll gladly marry you. I accepted Hayato's proposal of a marriage, and we're now happily engaged. Both of our families were overjoyed to hear of our engagement and immediately gave us their blessing. Right now, we're busier than ever, working our jobs and planning a splendid wedding. In case you're wondering, yes, I did find another job. I found my current job surprisingly quickly. Perhaps my certain qualifications were really appealing to my boss. My days are now filled with sales work once again, as well as wedding thoughts, like how should my wedding dress be? I know the first thing I should do. Communicate with Hayata to make sure the wedding will be something wonderful for both of us. And later on, I plan on doing everything I can to make a happy, stable family, full of love and happiness.